Yeah, we fucking up bands, make it again. Don't understand, don't comprehend, do not pretend. When will it end? It just began. We toured the land, told her to come. Who is she with? We on the run. She brought a friend, hop in the bag. Is she the one? Shit, nah, she ain't the one. My day ones know I post up, so just come through. If you say nothing, you glow up, she can come too. Can't say nothing when he choked us, so just cut him loose.
What's up, Holly? What's going on, Beaches? Drop in the comments below. Say what's up to Daddy.
You thought you had me, but it was a fling. We in Jamaica, we doing our thing. All of the things and we buying some rings. But you ain't got one, and we flying jets. Yeah, you a hater, but you not a threat. Right mind, I don't need a ghost. Fly high, we don't need a host. We buying ours on the East Coast. My bread, I don't need toast. Got Wi-Fi on the speedboat. Couple dimes in the safe though. My guys, yeah, we do the most. I buy all these new stocks. A mile high in that blue fox. My time, we don't need clocks, no. We fuck around getting fancy as shit. Just bought a pound, I ain't trying to quit. Don't come around unless you taking a hit. Brought a new sound and it's all about to shift. Got a few girls and they all in good health. Teaching to build up the family wealth. You acting mad and you throwing a fit. This how we live cause we fancy as shit. You just want a cloud, I understand now. You want a ready nigga, take your hand now. Don't got time for this, I need a couple bands now. You feeling lonely, go get you a couple friends now. Yeah, we fucking up bands, make it again. Don't understand, don't comprehend, do not pretend. When will it end? It just began, we toured the land. Told her to come, who is she with? We on the run, she brought a friend. Hop in the bag, is she the one? Shit, nah, she ain't the one.
Oh, yeah. Swole, Enormous.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling.
Sizzling.
Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, 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 test, 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 testing, testing, testicles, testing, testing, testicles, testicles, testicles. Oh, welcome everyone to episode 1160 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gamecast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches? What's up, booshes, busters, hustlers, and hoes? It's your fucking boy, Papa Swolio, back with some more daily sleeves that are so fortunate to cash me live. Cash me live in this beach. That's what you're doing. You're cashing Papa Swolio live. Papa Swolio's live. That's how I roll. Oh, yeah. What's going on? Where are you watching from? Where do you hail from? It is hump day, and I hope you're getting your hump day pump day on. Daddy is going to go get his schleg day workout today. And let's see how many of you caught today's YouTube drop. I think a lot of you did. I think a lot of you caught it because it's blowing the fuck up. And it was a two-parter, second part of the two-part series. And this is the topic of today's podcast, okay? This is the topic of today's podcast. Going to talk about it a little bit more because I want to clarify, because a lot of my content has been talking about not counting calories because I don't count my calories. I personally don't. But that needs clarification, and where the counting of the calories and the intuition and all that comes is not it's not for fucking beginners, yo. It's not for fucking beginners. So we're going to get into that. So first off, what do you do? What do you do? I want to hear in the comments. Let's get a little bit of a round robin. What do you do with your nutrition? Are you a counter? Do you count calories? Do you not count calories? What do you do? I want to hear right now. So drop that in the comments below. Let's get a little bit of a consensus and where the state of the swole is right now for who's watching. So let's see, we got Missouri, we got, hey dad, what's up? What's up? It's your dad. It's Daddy Swole, Papa Swolio. Just done with cardio. YouTube drop was awesome. Thank you, Kristen, over on YouTube. And just a reminder for those of you that like to follow on YouTube, you can catch the live stream on YouTube, but it is on the second channel, Daily Swole Podcast. I mentioned that in my videos, usually at the beginning and the end. Make sure you subscribe to both channels because there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit that I do. There's a lot of stuff that I do, and I spread it around. I'm like a fucking venereal disease. I just get everywhere and I don't leave. I get under your skin and you can't get rid of me. You can't get rid of me. Fucking Papa Herps over here. You don't count. Let's see. Schumann Viola. I've been calorie counting for years and I still got to look some stuff up. Okay, so let's see what we got. Donald Moat on Facebook. I don't count calories and I haven't in years. John Fernandez. What's up, brother? Swolenormous X in the house. Not a counter. I eat quality food. Keep that shit simple. Dale Young. What up, X? Oh, shit. I got to scroll in those comments. Not counting, just destroying sweet potatoes in Indianapolis. All right. Used to. I don't count anymore. Papa's everywhere. I try not to count, but I try not to eat bad things. I get meals prepped by meal prep company. They put the calories on there for me. Very cool. So if you're getting a meal prep, that's an easy way to count calories. Have someone else fucking do it for you. That's one way. Let's see. Let's see what's on Instagram. I use MyFitnessPal because portion control is my downfall. Ooh, MyFitnessPal. You should delete that app. If you didn't watch the YouTube videos, you won't get that. I tried to count, but it doesn't seem to affect what I do. In what sense, Cody? So let's get into that as everyone's typing and, finger jocking this whole thing. I want to preface this because I've done a lot of videos. I've done master classes. I've done webinars. I've done webinars titled Stop Counting Calories. All right. It's so funny because we talk about the anti-diet. I've literally done webinars called the Anti-Diet Workshop. I've literally titled things that, but I want to clarify what that means and what that signifies. There's two different things. There's two different things that a title and a subject line like that can do. One, it's clickbait in the sense that it's enticing and will get you to click on it to find out the real information. And there's also the movement and the anti-diet movement, anti-diet culture, fat acceptance, body positivity. Of course, there's a whole spectrum. Okay. So there's two different ways you can use this terminology. And I want to clarify what people are doing on social media in case you're confused. Because it's very easy to lose track. It's very easy to lose track of what people are trying to do on Instagram and YouTube and the like. All right. Everyone wants attention. Everyone wants attention. Now, in order to get attention, what do you have to do? You have to get someone's attention. So what do people normally do? They say outrageous shit, right? Like I do, like whore, bitch, cunt, twat. I say a lot of naughty words because I like to express myself and I love naughty words. I love swearing. So if that's not for you, earmuffs, go somewhere else. The Disney Channel goes 24/7. You can go and watch fucking Lion King 20 times or Will Smith and Aladdin. If anyone ever saw that movie, if anyone saw that movie. Anyway. So there's a lot of attention grabbing on social media because it's hard to get people's attention. You only have one screen. There's only one little rectangle, and a lot of people are vying for your eyes and your ears, which is one of the reasons why I post my content everywhere. I have 2 podcasts. I have 2 YouTube channels, Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook and everywhere. Okay. Because there's a lot of people using a lot of different things. So some people will say things just to get your attention and provide you with the valuable information because I do have components of what I preach, what I believe in, that does pull away from counting calories. But it's the context. It's the context of what you're doing by not counting calories. What I mean by that, what I mean by anti-diet, what I mean by pulling away from this restricted mindset. Okay, so let me tell you my point of view first, and let me get a little bit more deep into what you're all seeing and what you're all seeing in terms of my YouTube videos. Alan Roberts, Every Damn Day Fitness. This video today was about him as well, and what these other personalities or fitness influencers online are going into and what they're leveraging and what they're discussing. Okay, so my approach is to help as many people as possible. Okay. I try to help as many people as possible. Now, that's not an altruistic, that's not this like fucking idealistic mindset. I have the ability to help a lot of people. And I know that I help a lot more people than I realize because I don't see or know or get feedback from every single person that gets benefits or that, has success from something that they read or something that they heard in my content. So I'm very aware that there's a large audience that I'm trying to reach. And when we talk about the massive problem that is the health epidemic, there's a huge dichotomy in the fitness industry, which is very far from health and very far from fitness. The health and fitness industry is completely fucked because 99% of the people in the fitness industry talk to like 1%. All right. Most of the people that create fitness content make fitness content for a very small percentage of people that are in the fitness industry. It's all about either getting yoked or losing tons of weight or getting shredded, or it's this very small population, but these people usually have the results that people aspire to have, right? From the visual standpoint, because you don't know their personality. You don't know if they're suffering from depression. You don't know what they're fucking dealing with. You just see on the outside, oh, they have abs. And I've said many times, abs does not make you healthy. Abs do not make you a valuable person. It's a superficial thing. And oftentimes very low body fat can lead to eating disorders. Very low body fat can lead to hormonal disruption. Very low body fat can be very unhealthy. And being on stage and competition lean is not healthy. So my approach is to come at nutrition in a different way than most people. You'll see most professionals, they're always talking about counting calories. They're always talking about measuring. They're always talking about caloric deficit. They're always talking about caloric surplus. Is that true? Do you need a caloric surplus to gain weight? Yes, you do. Do you need a caloric deficit to lose weight? Yes, you do. So that's true. I don't disagree with that. That's science. That's energy balance. And that's just the way things are. Okay. To deny that caloric value doesn't exist is just, it's stupid because it doesn't make any sense. My mindset and my approach, I see that. Okay. I see that calorie counting. I see that framework and I agree with it. However, why are people obese still? How long what do you think? I haven't done the math on this. I haven't looked it up, but how long have people been like counting calories? At least the 80s, right? At least the 80s, people have been really splitting hairs with nutrition labels and being aware of how many calories they're consuming. I know they used to demonize fats and now people embrace fats and vice versa. I'm not talking about the social trend or the scientific biases in the government recommendations, but people have been counting calories for 20, 30, 40 years, right? They've been looking at the labels and being aware that calories matter. Calories do matter. Calories are units of energy that your body can use. So maybe approaching from a restriction standpoint from the start, maybe that's not the best focal point in terms of the first touch point. So when someone's looking to lose weight and change their lifestyle, maybe because that's what we've been doing for 20 or 30 or 40 years, maybe because we've been doing that, maybe that because that's the first point of contact, yet people are more obese and more sick than ever before, maybe that's not working for a majority of the population. Maybe that works for bodybuilders. Maybe that works for people that are in fitness and they love fitness and they're already in pretty good shape. And maybe that works for people that actually apply that. But I want to pose a question to you. Okay. And this is what's been going, and this is literally the type of content that I've been developing and kind of realizing and getting deeper with my own voice and the message that I give off in my podcast and my content, because I, like any person who wants to expand and grow, I learn, I adapt, and I adjust my message accordingly to what I see that will work best. And what I've seen is that, come on, most people don't like to, how many of you like math? How many of you loved math in school? Loved fucking math. I'm talking about arithmetic, geometry, calculus. You fucking loved math. Let me break the news to anyone that doesn't understand how much people fucking hated math class. A lot of people don't like math. They don't like being super analytical. They're more creative based. They don't like counting. It drives them fucking insane. It can feel very restrictive, and I do understand that. So I look at this, and if this is where all the fitness professionals are coming from, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. Here's the thing. Calorie counting, calorie surplus and deficit, it's real. It's a reality. That's literally it. If you don't have enough energy, you'll lose. If you have too much, you'll gain and you'll store it. But if people hate counting and they're not good with being analytical and quantitative like that, and 99% of the fitness professionals are pushing calorie counting and calorie deficit, you see that clash, how it's going to just bounce off a lot of people's brains? You see how it's not going to stick. It's not going to adhere with a lot of people. So what's another concept and what's another approach and what's another psychological touch point in order to get people into the consistency and the fitness, health and fitness lifestyle? What's a better touch point, or what's an alternative? So like I always say, my way, I'm not saying it's the best way. I feel like it's the best way, but that doesn't mean it's the best way for you, but that's what my passion is. That's what my purpose. I see this white space, this area, this open, just gaping hole in the fitness industry, in the health industry that isn't really being pushed hard enough. So what I like to approach is, like someone else said in the comments, habits, but the food quality. Okay, that's the variable that's not touched. We've been talking about calorie counting for decades, but people are still obese. People still are fucking just coming, diabetes, like crazy, type 2 diabetes, like nuts, and all these other obesity related issues. So what's failing these people? What's failing these people? Is it the calorie counting? You think people aren't aware that calories exist? They're aware. Maybe it's the food choices. So I started looking at this a lot more. And for myself, because I used to count calories so much and I know how much, it's just, you can intuitively eat if you're fucking been doing it for 20 years. I've been doing this for 20 fucking years, eating to bulk, eating to maintain. So I can eyeball a plate of food. I know for my body what I need to eat to maintain. All right. I don't have a goal of losing or gaining, but I've been doing it so long. I know how much food on a plate is the amount that I need. And if I want to gain, I can always track it a little bit, or I just eat a little bit more. I've just been doing it, so I know that habit. I understand how much I need. So I started noticing that there's a real open area. There's a real open space. There's a real deficit in the sense of the presence of talking about food quality being the most important thing. So with my members inside Swole Enormous X, all of you, and what we talk about in the podcast, I say, let's approach your nutrition from the food quality first. And the difference between my message and a lot of these other fucking jabronis is they go completely one direction and the opposite direction. It's either you're counting every last fucking thing, or you're intuitively eating and you're going by your body's pleasure sensors. If you don't enjoy it, don't eat it. Don't, keep yourself restricted. If you have a craving, that's because your body needs it. It's like, why the fuck do we have to be so far to the sides? Why does it have to be social justice warrior and fucking Nazi? Why can't it be a little bit of both? And not a little bit of both. Why can't it be both? Because it is both. And that's how I feel. It's the quality of the food. And I like to approach nutrition for a newbie first, quality first. However, kind of like, and I used this analogy before, kind of like a little, I don't know what is one of those little suckle fishes that latches itself under a whale or a shark, like a close second, like a partner, kind of like, hey, let's focus on the quality first, but let's get you right into understanding too the impact of the caloric intake. Here's why I like this approach. And here's why a lot of you in this community have found a lot of success where maybe just straight calorie counting didn't give you success. Because if you are having trouble with cravings, if you're having trouble with overeating because processed foods are calorically dense but nutritionally void, so you can eat thousands of calories and hundreds and even thousands of calories over your maintenance, over what you need without realizing it before you get those hunger signals responding, because processed foods, you could pack in a lot more energy, but you're not getting all the vitamins, minerals, fiber that you will with whole foods like vegetables and fibrous foods and so forth. So if you're approaching your nutrition by creating good habits with cooking at home, preparing good foods, resetting your taste buds, understanding that you're not supposed to eat super fast, right? Smaller plates, little habits of, I guess, unplugging from the need to, I smell food. I have a craving. I'm hungry. Let me eat that. Really kind of unplugging from the fast food smells good to, oh my God, that doesn't smell right. That's not real food. Until the point where it kind of grosses you out because it's fucking fake food. It's made in a lab. It's made to get you addicted. And any of you that thinks that food companies are making food for any other reason than to make money, you're out of your fucking mind. A company is in business to make money so it can stay in business. And these food companies make the food in a certain manner so it triggers your addictive nature and it triggers you to want to buy more and eat more, okay? And I see a lot of you in the comments right now, I hate fucking fast food. Okay, so if you're eating vegetables, let's say chicken, fish, salads, you're much less likely, I think we can agree, do you agree that it's much less likely if you were just to freely eat wholesome foods, high in fiber, vegetables, if you were to freely eat, just straight off the bat, let's say you're just eating just whatever you wanted, but only those types of foods, real food, you're much less likely, not saying you can't overeat, but you're much less likely to voluntarily binge and eat like 3,000 calories and eat 1,000 calories over your requirement. It's less likely, correct? It's just less likely. You're more likely to get full because it takes longer to eat, longer to chew. There's more bulk, more fiber. You'll feel more satisfied. So you're going to get more full. It's much less likely, which means it's much more easy to restrict your calories. It's much easier, dramatically easier to restrict your calories and to make sure that you are either in a deficit or a slight surplus, whatever your goal is. It's much easier to manage your caloric intake when you're eating real food. Okay. It might be harder to bulk because you have to eat more food. That's just the bottom line. But most people are obese. So we're talking about obesity because most people are overweight, not underweight. I mean, just the math here. Okay. Most people have a gut. Most people have chronic low-level inflammation, just chronic sickness. And if you are focusing on the quality of the food, if you bring in calorie counting, you bring in the volume as a close second, it's much easier. It's like a no pun intended. Fuck it, pun intended. It's much easier to bite off and chew, right? It's a much easier thing to add on to be managing and to be observing your caloric intake and to be tracking it if you're tracking real whole foods. That is my approach. It's not that calories don't matter. It's not that you should stop counting calories and only just do what you feel and follow your cravings. No, I am a huge proponent of food quality number fucking one and like number 1.1. Like not even like, oh, in second place. No, it's like right behind. It's still caloric value. However, I am willing, if you didn't want to count for a while, I'm willing to risk someone who's obese to focus on quality foods and not count for another month or two. You're not going to keep on gaining weight. You're going to be losing weight because you're not going to be able to eat as much as you were. You're going to be in a good place by just making better food choices. That's my opinion, and that's been my experience. And again, it does not mean that calories don't exist. So that's where people get that confused. A lot of people just completely ditch that concept. Like, oh, well, I'm going to eat intuitively, so I'm not going to count jack shit. Newsflash, calories fucking matter. Calories matter. If you're eating healthy food and you're eating too much, you're going to gain. If you're not eating enough, you're going to lose. Can you lose weight on fast food? Maybe, but your health is going to be dog shit. If you're eating 1,000 calories a day of healthy food or of fast food, you're still going to be very nutritionally challenged because you're not getting enough volume to get the amount of nutrients that you need. It's important to get a variety of nutrients, and it's important to get enough volume. It's important to get enough quantity so you can get the quantity of all the nutrients from your food. If you're eating processed food, these foods have pretty much stripped all the value from whatever ingredients. You're not getting the micronutrients. You're not getting the vitamins and the minerals and the fiber. You're not. You're getting just pure energy. And a lot of that comes in the form of sugar, high fructose corn syrup, and gluten, and just all this other stuff that people have issues with. Now, you might not have issues with, but that's why we promote the elimination diet here. You figure this stuff out for yourself. You go through this process in which you're eliminating foods, nutrition, and getting your nutrition in order. Essentially, getting your fucking shit together is more about what you take away than what you add. Most of you, 99% of you, you don't need a protein shake. You don't need to add a fucking protein shake. You don't need to add a supplement. You don't need to add something. You need to take shit away. You need to simplify. You need to simplify your fucking life. You need to simplify your nutrition. And it's very simple. What's simpler than saying, oh, you want to lose weight, caloric deficit. You want to gain weight, caloric surplus. Although it's true, information is not enough to help people make change. It's the habits. So one of the best ways to improve your habits is not to teach someone, well, you can make a better choice when you go to McDonald's, when you can go to Burger King. Instead of getting that, number 4, you're going to get this. You're going to get a salad and you're going to ask for the dressing on the side. And no, you're going to go to the fucking drug dealer and be like, hey, can I get this thing instead of that? Get the fuck out of here. You're going to have that smell radiating and you're an addict. People are fucking addicted to food. Addicted to food, okay? Similar pathways to having an addiction to drugs, or the same pathways. Like, it's the same fucking concept. You're addicted. You can't help but fucking, you want to have it. You want to fucking have it. So if you're addicted to shit, is it a good idea to send you, like, into the fucking war zone? I don't think so. You need to change your habits. You need to change where you're getting your food from. Where you're getting your food from means your food quality. What's in your food? Connecting with your food, preparing your food, making your food, understanding the value of fibrous vegetables, understanding the value of getting grass-fed meats and wild fish and eating a diet maybe lower in just fucking high-impact carbohydrates, fruits over candy and vegetables. And I mean, there's so much beautiful food out there and we have more access to it than ever before. From my experience, there's a huge lacking in the fitness industry of this type of approach. So, and this is what I believe. I really do think it's a better touch point for quality in conjunction, in harmony with caloric intake, whether it's a surplus or a deficit based on your goal and your needs. If you just go after caloric intake, are you getting are you getting enough nutrients? What are you restricting? Are you restricting garbage foods that aren't working best for your body? Don't you think it'd be better for you to go through a few weeks of an elimination diet, figure out which foods your body responds best to? I'm not even talking about sensitivities and allergies and, but peanut butter works best for me, or I don't have a problem with bread. Fuck, I don't care. That's why you do an elimination, so you figure out what works best for you. If you want to eat bread, go fucking eat bread. Just because I don't doesn't mean that you can't. Doesn't mean we have to have a battle over like, well, bread's not, fine, fucking eat it. But don't you want to know if you react well to the type of bread that you like? Don't you want to know if you react well to it? Some of you are going to find, and I posted about this today, and this is like my personal fucking experience. You can't debate this with me. This is my personal experience. When I consume sweet potatoes, I feel so much better from a performance standpoint, from a physical standpoint, from a mental standpoint, when I consume sweet potatoes over white rice. I have both of them from time to time. More sweet potatoes than white rice, but I feel better. I feel better when I have a sweet potato. I have one before I fucking go to the gym. Every time I go, I have a sweet potato before I go. That's my thing. Okay? And you know how I determine that? By fucking applying what I preach. All right? I preach what I practice. I don't practice what I preach. I'm telling you what I do. I'm sharing that because I found great success with actually paying attention to how my body reacts to my food. So it's about figuring out what's best for you, what you perform best with, what you feel best with, and then you double down on that. And then you fucking manage your calories. It's the quality first. I mean, you're not going to put a different gas in your car. And this is a common analogy, but it's the best one because everyone can relate because everyone's got a fucking car. You can understand the concept. You don't put super if your car takes regular, and vice versa. You put the right gas in, the right fuel in. And here's the thing. When you go to the food store to get your fuel, you see 10,000 fucking objects in there and you have no idea. No one tells you. No one tells you. You don't come with a manual. Oh, these are the good foods. A lot of people just say, well, make sure you don't eat too many calories. So what does that mean? Everything in the fucking store is game on? The chips, the donuts, the soda, as long as you don't eat over 1,800 calories, eat whatever the fuck you want. Well, some of these foods are highly addictive. Some of these foods are highly stimulating. Some of these foods really skew your perception of what sweet is and what fat is and what tastes good. You know why? Because they're made in a fucking lab, so they taste good. So you keep on eating them, so you buy more, so the company makes billions of fucking dollars. It's so obvious, it's sickening. So the best approach when you go into a food place with 10,000 options, let's get people educated on what the better options are. So then they start eating those options. Cool. Right? 90% of the battle is fucking done. Then We do a simple thing with an app or just writing some things down, a couple calculations, and then you figure out, oh, one apple is 80 calories, or this is, oh, okay, cool. So I added up, oh, that's what I'm eating. All right, so now I know about what I should be eating a day. Okay, cool. You can calculate every day. You can eyeball it once you know about that's how far, and depends on what kind of goals you want. But then you learn both things, but at least now you are restricting or whatever in terms of your caloric intake. You're managing your caloric intake with foods that your body responds best to. Does that make sense? I really feel like that's the best, like that covers everything. It doesn't ignore the fact that calories exist, because they fucking do. Facts are not emotional. It's a fact. If you eat a lot of food regularly, you gain. I know, I've done it. If you eat less than what you need, you lose. I know, I've done it. I've done it. You'll get better hunger signals. You'll have a better understanding of what it means to be hungry if you're eating real food. Fasting is a fucking breeze when you're eating quality foods, because you're getting the nutrients you need. You're not always having this fucking insulin roller coaster, which is one of the reasons why type 2 diabetes comes around in the first place, because you're just blasting your body with fucking insulin. Your pancreas is like, fuck, there's so much sugar here, and you're just releasing insulin, and your body eventually just says, fuck you, I don't want to see this insulin anymore. And then you become insulin resistant, and then you have real fucking problems. So if you're eating quality first, with the context that you are aware of the caloric value, and you bring that in conjunction, but not at the expense. You don't ignore the quality for the counting, vice versa, the quality, and then you use the counting. There you have a happy marriage of everything that works in your favor. But most people don't want to take the effort to figure out what foods work best for them. Why would you? You're so busy. There's so much information. I'm so confused. What do I do? It's so fucking simple. Talked about this a million fucking times, and I'll talk about it again. Elimination. You cut out a lot of these commonly inflammatory, commonly sensitive foods for most people, and then you see if they are sensitive for you. And if they are, you found some valuable information. If you feel fine with them and you want to eat them and it works for you, then by all means. But if you're struggling and you're eating whatever the fuck you want, maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe you're doing something wrong. And that's where a lot of people bang their head against the wall. Well, I'm doing all this stuff right. Because if you're just using your perception, it's like telling me that you're training hard. Well, I'm training so hard in the gym every day. What does that mean? That's so subjective. You're training hard in relation to what you think hard training is. My perception of hard training is going to be very different than what yours is. So you might think you're training hard, and I might watch you train and be like, the fuck are you doing? You're barely putting any effort in. You're resting too long. You could go so much heavier. You're not even pushing and forcing reps. Like that's usually like the difference. You think you're eating quality foods. Maybe you're not. You're not focusing on your individuality enough. You're following someone else's diet plan or what someone else fucking is doing with a body that you want. So, let me just copy what that person's doing. Not the right approach, but that's what most people do. Let me just do this person's diet plan. Someone from across the globe, well, they're going to send me a PDF and you just fucking follow that. That's not the best approach either. If you're not getting the results you want, you're not doing something right. It's that simple. If you're not getting the results you want, you're not doing something right. And in this country, at least, in the United States, no one wants to take responsibility for fucking up. No one wants to take responsibility for failing. If you're not getting the results you want, it's because you are not doing it right. You're not doing it right. And that's okay. But you have to understand that it's your responsibility to change something and to objectively look at what you're doing, whether it's caloric value, surplus or deficit, how many calories you're consuming, the type of foods, your effort with your training, your recovery. That is a responsibility you need to take in order to take your training to the next level so you get fucking results. If you don't address this, no one's going to do it for you. But don't act all confused and like a chicken with his head cut off, like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to eat. I don't know how much to eat. It's like, I can't lose weight. I just can't lose weight. I don't know what the hell I'm doing wrong. You're fucking eating too much. That's what you're doing wrong. You're eating too much. It's not complicated. You're eating too much. Oh, but I mean, energy, your body's just using energy? What are you getting it from fucking air? I already did a YouTube video on that, fam. Already did a YouTube video on breatharian. You're not getting nutrients from the fucking air. So what now? What now? Like, you can make that excuse and you can tell that to someone who doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. But any true fitness professional that has experience is going to tell you if you're not losing weight, you're eating too much. Hands down, period, end of story. The reasons why you might be eating too much are all sorts of different things, habits and what quality of foods. That's why I like to approach it with quality first. That's where I like to enter. You know, that's the hole I like to go into, whether she likes it or not. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. She has to like it. Consent, everyone. Consent is important. Sheesh, almost got in trouble. I almost hurt someone's feelings. Okay? That's the difference. It doesn't mean that calories don't matter. So whenever I say that, it doesn't mean that calories don't matter. It fucking matters. It fucking matters. It matters. It matters. If you need 5 calories to maintain and you're utilizing 6 and you're only eating 5, you're going to be -1. It's basic fucking math. I just know that a lot of people suck at math. They suck at writing things down. They suck at staying consistent with doing that because they track everything. They forget to write something down. Oh, I forgot to write down the muffin that I fucking ate. Well, there's 200, 300 calories right there that you forgot. Everything else was maintenance. Now you're over 50 calories. If you're over 50 calories every day for 7 days, it's going to add up. You're over 50 calories a day for 7 days. That's 3,500 fucking calories. No, that's not. It's 350 calories. 350 calories if you do 50 calories over every day. 350, 2 weeks, that's 700. 3 weeks, that's 1,000. You see how that can add up over time with just a 50 calorie extra surplus every day? I mean, obviously that's going to have to be super consistent. You're the same energy every day, the same food bump and over but that's how you gain. That's how you gain 10 pounds every year. That's how you gain 5 pounds every year. And how many of you if you're not weighing yourself and you're not in fitness, you're not really paying attention, how many people would notice 5 pounds in a year? You're like, oh my God, I gained 5 pounds. You're like, oh, I must have gained 5 pounds overnight. No, you were eating a little bit extra regularly over the course of rolling weeks and months, and now you gained 5 pounds. But with 5 pounds in a year might not seem like a lot. All right, 5 pounds. You might notice, whoa, 5 pounds, getting older. The dad bod. Well, guess what 5 pounds turns into after 10 years? 50 fucking pounds. Now you're 50 pounds over. 20 years, now you're 100 pounds. And that's only with 5 pounds a year. Most of you watching, how old are you all? Let's do that. How old are you right now? What's up, Samina? How old are you? Tell me your age. Come on. Age, sex, location. Y'all, so I can hunt you down. I'm looking for a viable breeding mate. I'm looking to inseminate. I'm trying to get an idea of who's fertile. I'm joking. I'm taken. You all know that. I just go completely off the rails for no reason. Let's see. 28, 28, 27, 29, 36, 36, 40, 44, 22. Brandy's 22. So appropriate. But it's a Daily Swole podcast. Everything's appropriate. 35, 32, 30, 59. Hillary represent 29, 40, 30, 43. So I think we can all guesstimate. Let's say we got 25 to 45, 30 to 50 range. A lot of 54, 39, 21, 31, 26, 40, 41, 36. Okay, so let's say 40. Because if you're 33, you're 36. I'm going to be 36 in a couple weeks. So we're all going to be 40 eventually, right? And if you're past it, you get the idea. Let's say 40. So you graduate college or you move out and you're in your 20s. That's 20 years. Okay, that's exactly what I talked about. 5 pounds a year for 10 years is 50 pounds. 20 years, that's 100 pounds. So if you're 40 and you're 100 pounds overweight, that can come from 5 pounds a year. 5 pounds a year. Very easily. Think about what I just mentioned. 50 calories extra, 20 calories extra. Maybe one day it was 100. Maybe most days you're on maintenance or below, but every once in a while, on the weekends, every couple weeks, you're eating 200 or 300 over. So, you see how just that little extra on a regular basis, whether it's a big one every 2 weeks or like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 every day, right? Like that's 5 pounds a year is nothing. Maybe you go through a losing period. Maybe you go through a bulking. And what usually happens? The holidays. That's why the holidays are a fucking train wreck. And that's why I rage on the holidays, because you have like late September, early October, straight through fucking January. Second week of January, people like come out of their fucking coma. So you have like 3.5 months. That's more than 25% of the entire year. And people are just fucking constantly gaining because you're eating all those things, all that garbage. How many people are dieting and doing shit right and restricting their calories? How many people are doing that around the holiday season? No one. Rarely. I mean, people are, of course, like we want them to, but come on. So that's where those pounds come from. It's not magic. It's not magic. It's fucking math. So it's something to be aware of. It doesn't happen overnight, and it won't come off overnight either, unless you're making good habits. So you need to be aware of the calories consumed. You need to be aware and create those habits. And if you are relentless, if you are really in the trenches, if you're in the trenches, right? I've been training and I've been focusing on nutrition, eating right, and training hard for 20 years. So I know about what I need. I weighed myself a couple of weeks ago. I haven't weighed myself like in a year or two. And I'm like around the same weight that I've been for like years. Just because I fucking eyeball my food. However, I've been doing it for a long time. And you better believe that I used to fucking count. I used to make sure that I was in a surplus because I was fucking gaining. So I wouldn't allow myself to not eat. That's how I know that it's fucking sickening to eat a lot of real food, because I did it. You feel full. Doesn't matter. You have to eat your calories. If you need 3,500 calories to gain, you need to eat 3,500 calories to gain. And if you're not going to gain. So guess what happens? You got a stuffed face. Why do you think bodybuilders and people that are trying to gain eat 6 times a day? Because it's hard to eat massive meals of real food. So you break it up into 6 meals of 500 calories. For 3,000 calories or the like. And you're eating every couple hours, because if you're eating 6 times a day, there's only so many hours in a day. You got to break it up. You're eating first thing in the morning, and then 2 or 3 hours later, and then 2 or 3 hours later, and boom, 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 boom. When I was bulking, I set a watch. Every 2 hours I ate. I set a watch. When I ate my last bite, I started the timer, and when it beeped, I ate again. And guess what? When it beeped, I was usually fucking full. Especially at the beginning. But then, let me give you this little tip. Then, what started to happen pretty quickly too, because I would eat literally when it beeped. When it beeped, when my watch went off, I would eat. And this is for bulking. It got to the point, because I was so regimented and so literal with that timing. All right. It wasn't how I felt. It wasn't, I looked at the clock. Oh, it's around 2 hours. No, when it was 2 hours, I fucking ate like clockwork. I started to get, and there's no way I'm actually hungry after 2 fucking hours. It's just the habit I created. I created this environment in which my body was getting food. My body was expecting food every 2 hours. So I started to get hunger pains, and I'd be like, ooh, I feel hungry. It must be time to eat. I would look down at my watch, and it would literally be counting down from 4 minutes. So I would start getting these little hunger signals every 2 hours, just before, like almost on the dot. And that's because my body was expecting food. It's not because it was hungry. It's because I trained it to understand, essentially, that it was getting food every 2 hours. So my hunger signals adapted to that frequency that I overloaded. I mean, it was what's the word? What's that? Not overthrow. I can't think. I overrided. Yeah, I overrided my fucking my feelings. I created that craving. I created that need for hunger, but I trained my body. I trained my body to expect food at that time. But I still felt that hunger pain. I still felt that like my stomach, like I'm hungry. You see what I'm saying? There's no fucking way that my body needed energy. I had plenty. I ate 2 hours before. My body wasn't like, oh, you're hungry because you're starving and you're going to die. You're in starvation mode. No. It's because I made it like an assembly line, and my body expected to be consuming food. So as a reaction, it's like the same thing as, you've probably heard this, if you want to feel better, like a little jolt, a little like, shot of like happiness, Just smile, whether or not you feel happy. Next time you feel upset, like, you just smile and it's going to feel really uncomfortable. Like, I don't feel like smiling. Just do the action and you'll actually start to feel a little bit better because your body is so used to smiling. When you feel good, if you reverse it, you actually get some of that same benefit. It's the same thing with the food. My body started telling me that I was hungry, but it doesn't know the difference. It just knew that now's food time. So whether the acids and the hormones in my system, yeah, the Pavlovian response, my body knew that, oh, 2 hours were up. We're ready for food because I would go by that time. If I always ate when like the door closed, I'm like, oh, the door closed, I would eat. Same thing. My body knew that, I'm getting food now. So I started to feel hungry. But that's the difference between the feeling and the reality. I was not hungry, but I felt hungry. And if you're extremely obese and you're always feeling hungry, it's because you're training your body to want it. When your sugar drops, when the insulin drops, like, hey, we need more, boom, and then you give it more. It's not connected to the right hunger mechanism. It's connected to habit. So quality, habits, and caloric volume, they all fucking matter. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for episode 1160 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Tag someone, share the podcast. It's available everywhere. This episode is fucking fire, and a lot of people need to hear this and understand, literally understand what the fuck I'm talking about. Very important. So make sure you share this for someone that is stuck in a rut, especially with their nutrition. And I'll see you tomorrow for 1161 of the Swole. Peace, McGee's, deuce, Magoose, your boy, Papa Swolio. Out.